Do, 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 do. All right, and we're live. Hi, everyone. We're gonna play the what? The
Intro.
what are we playing? The countdown. Okay. Yeah. Oh nope, that didn't work. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Crafty Mess, where we talk about the messiness that's happening on social media, public news, and all that cool stuff. And we're going to just share our opinions because things are always unfolding, and we have a lot of thoughts about them, especially this one. I think this one's kind of a biggie. This is Mel's disclaimer.
And then please, all the topics that we're talking about here, do not send hate across, to the people that are involved. We're just here trying to just, share our opinions on the matter. We don't want to spread any type of bullying, any type of, especially cyberbullying, because that's not good, or hate. Please just, we definitely want to condone more kindness on this channel. And yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Nope.
Okay. So any questions you have, just let us know and then we'll answer it.
Yes, in the comment box, which I try to keep an eye on.
Yes.
Okay, so which story do you want to go with?
Wait, can I tell you what we're working on?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me see your top.
Yes. Okay. It's done. And I realized the only reason why I was so slow on the first version of it was because I wasn't feeling it. I was just not, you know what I mean? Like it just wasn't coming along like I thought it was, and that's why I was kind of dragging my feet. But after I fixed it and redone it, dun 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 dun.
So cute.
Double layers.
Is it still drop shoulder?
Yes, it is a drop shoulder. It's a crop. It's slightly cropped. Well, it is cropped, but I added 2 more rows to it just to make it a little bit longer for me. But yep. And I have a matching skirt with it, which I can't wait to shoot it and then show you guys the final product on my Instagram page. So follow if you haven't yet.
Isn't it so satisfying to make something that's like customized to your body?
Yeah.
Right? Like when I want to buy.
But that means that you can't sell it because it's customized to your body.
Yeah, but I mean, it's satisfying because like when I buy a crop top, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to wear a crop top, but it's always like that extra half inch. Like if it was a half inch longer, where like your belly can peek through a little bit when you lift up your arms, but not always hanging out.
Yeah.
See, it's like that, and so it's always nice to like be able to customize, in little ways.
So now I'm working on a new project.
Let's see.
So this new project is just a scarf, but it's one that I saw, and it looks really nice because it's a scarf with pockets. So I'm excited for that.
It's a scarf with pockets.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen patterns for those, and I always wondered because like you could put like your phone and stuff.
Yeah.
Right, like
yeah.
I need to probably make one of those.
Or just instead of wearing gloves, it could be your hand warmer. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true too. But it doesn't get cold enough here for me to, and I never leave the house.
True. That's true. What are you working on?
Oh, I'm just wrapping up like little. Wait, Lauren says, "Oh my gosh, that top is absolutely beautiful. The texture looks great."
Thank you. I'm excited now that the weather is actually cooling down here in the DV area. I can actually go and model this and like let you guys see the final product because there is a matching skirt to boot.
I am just so I like to wrap up random little stuff for Grudy. I think you've seen me do this before.
Yeah,
and then
so
like
cute.
Yeah, and then I either hide them or it's a way for me to be like, hey, you want to do something? You'll get some prizes if you do something. It's me bribing, but it
Yeah,
works. And because like
yeah.
this stuff was, it was for like Christmas, and she opened it and she saw it for Christmas. And you know how like kids for Christmas they get so much
Oh,
stuff that they don't
yeah,
actually need it. So what I do is I
yeah.
hide them, and then
Oh,
like
good.
yeah, during the year or whatever, like if it's if it's like small stuff like this, I can always wrap up as like little treats.
Yeah.
But so that's what I'm doing because this is a
Be
Christmas gift from last year. So
because they forget.
oh
And
yeah,
it's almost like
totally.
why even spend more money to get buy more stuff if you already have the stuff that they haven't used, and they'll be even more excited
Yeah, and
to
the
get it
yeah,
again.
I mean, because it was this and then like a huge play kitchen. Pretty sure she was obsessed about the play kitchen, completely forgot about this. So I was
Yes.
like, I'm just gonna hide it, There's no need to have all
Yeah.
the Christmas gifts at once. So, okay, so
Yeah.
what is gonna be our first topic?
Wait,
You
wait,
want
wait.
what?
Before we jump into the topic, remember I had text you and I was like, I'm about to go to Michael's and give them hell. Okay? Can I tell you what happened?
Oh gosh.
Okay. So I was ready. I was like fuming, you know what I mean? Like, you know how, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you sign up to Michael's rewards thing, every time you buy something, they give you points and it accumulates, right? So I had I had put in an order for pickup the first time around. It, I wasn't able to pick it up within the time frame, even though I had extended it. Got canceled, right? But within that
Oh.
time frame, I got a $20 voucher. So then the second order I put in, I added the $20 voucher, which was like the order came down to like 30 cents, right? So again, I forgot to like I mean, I've been meaning to get to Michael's to pick up the item and I wasn't able to do it and then they canceled it. So here's the thing about Michael's vouchers is that when they cancel it or when you return something, you don't actually get that voucher back unless you call the customer service, which I didn't know until I went there to talk to the lady. And so
Oh.
you don't get that back. And then, but because of the first canceled order,
What?
they had a negative $13 on my rewards thing. So tell me, why is it that they could cancel an order, or if you use something, they could put a negative amount on your rewards thing, but if they cancel it or if you return something, you don't get that voucher back unless you actually have to call them. So I was ready to like
Hmm.
raise hell, right? Because I didn't think that was fair. And I
No.
walked in and you know what? I was just pretty much I was like, can I please talk to a manager? So they called the manager and the
You
manager
Karened
came
it?
in. So here's the thing. I said I went up to the lady and she was like, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "Yes." I was like, I was like, "I'm very irritated right now." And she was like, "Okay." So I was like, "Let me explain my story." So I went through the whole spiel and whatnot, and she was like, "I'm so sorry. I know I completely understand, but unfortunately, the voucher portion of this is not something that we can control in the store. You actually have to call the customer service to have them, refund the points or whatever, right?" I was like, "Okay, fine." And I was like, but I am here to pick up an order. So so she was like, okay, I'll help you. So she went to go to the closet where they put the order pickup. And luckily, the order that she actually canceled the first time or the second time, it was already in the bag and it was never restocked or was never put back. So I was like, oh, this is the order that was canceled. And she was like, you know what? Go ahead and take this order, and then we'll just honor your like
Aw.
your order, right? And I was just like, thank you so much, because that would have been such a hassle to have to call them and whatever. 'Cause I just wanted my order, you know. And she was like, yeah, we know, we see your name often. We see your name often at this Michael's. And I was like, oh, uh-huh. And it's like, yeah, you always come and pick up your order. It's just a little bit later or whatever. But according to the policy, because they get dinged, like every store gets dinged for not canceling an order if it's past a certain time. So it's like one of those things. So, like understandably, when you actually approach an issue, not carrying it. If you approach an issue with like calm, collective, and just let them know that you're frustrated, it's not at them, it's like you're frustrated at the issue, they actually will be more lenient
Oh
towards like
yeah.
actually helping you, right? So it's like it's like the whole saying that you attract more flies with honey versus vinegar, which is completely true, because here I was able to get my order and I didn't have to like, blow a fuse or whatever, and everything was fine. It's
All
like
right.
it goes a long
First of
way when
all,
you understand both situations.
let's not attract any flies, regardless of what we're using.
No, no,
We
no.
don't want flies.
So here, and I actually looked that up, and it is like what, and like people were saying like, how do we want to attract flies? That's like, don't read into it. It's more about that you attract things, that you attract kind, or like it's like what you want when you do it with kindness. It's what the whole saying goes, right? So no, we don't want to attract flies, but the whole saying goes, that's how it's supposed to be. Okay.
Because what
So
I'm hearing when
yeah.
you say that is that by being nice, you attract flies, and therefore, if you're always nice and being stepped on and walked over, you're going to attract like the scummiest people. Because that's what I hear in my brain.
I
Uh,
know.
so
But
maybe we could just say, let's attract
how the verse, that's not how the
bumblebees.
saying goes.
Let's
That's not
attract
how the saying
bumblebees.
goes. No, I
Well, you
know,
know
but that's
what?
not how the saying goes. And bumblebees don't, I mean, I think they make their own honey, so it doesn't really attract them as
That's
much.
true.
So, anywho, so that was my saga this morning, and it went well, and I was very happy how everything turned out, and I have my materials, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's happy all around.
I think
So, spread kindness.
yeah, it's not even so much kindness as much as like approaching
Yes.
any situation that's problematic in a humanistic approach, right? Like going, I know you're here to do your job, and I know some things you can't control, and I'm not going to put that on you. However, the things that you can control, can you help me out?
But
And I
here's the
think that
thing,
works.
it comes out of kindness though, because if you're mean
Mm-hmm.
spirited like a Karen, they're just gonna bump heads. You know what I mean? Like all you want to do is just like this Karen's like screaming her head off and whatever. Like how is that gonna get you anywhere?
Yeah,
And if
I guess like
you go with it with level headedness, I don't think being kind is being a pushover. That's two different things.
no. But I do think that we have to be like maybe it's because I'm being kind of pessimistic in the sense that like
Yeah.
I don't think that's even being kind because I think that's just being like a decent human being, right? Like I think that's the bare minimum, right? To go in and say, hey, I have a problem. Can you help me out? That's the bare minimum. And I think what happens is that people who go in like feeling entitled to things, they have lowered the bar so much that being a decent human being is considered kindness, which I don't think is. I think kindness is, for example, the whole Ida thing that's happening right now. Donating, making sure you get resources to those people, making sure that your friends who are in that area, you send cards and best wishes and stuff. I think kindness takes effort. But like, being a decent human being, like just being polite, I feel like because we have set the bar so low now that being polite is now considered kind. And I think that's the one thing that kind of bothers me a little bit because the bar has shifted, and I think it's just being a decent human being, like, and everyone who's doing a job is doing a job. And maybe if you just approach
everyone.
it like, however, there are certain jobs that certain ways to make money that I don't approve of. And I think maybe we should just go into the vaccination cards.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, let's see. I'm going to try to add my screen here. Add to the stream. There we go.
I like screening thing.
Yeah. And okay, so this is from the FBI or no. So this is an alert. Oh, geez. Gosh. Okay. So basically, this is a public service announcement that you are not allowed to sell vaccination cards. There's a lot of stories that are going on out there where like people are and they're not cheap, right? Like, because there's some places where you have to. Oh wait, hold on. Lauren just left a comment earlier, and I forgot to look at it. She says, "Wrap up old Hot Wheels for our party training process, and it's a success." Which seriously, like tiny little kids just love doing achieving things, but. And it's a little bit of bribery, but it works. Any type of carrot hack, I'm all for it.
Totally.
Okay. So basically, we should not buy. I've been hearing a lot of stories about people selling these like fake vaccination cards on Facebook. There's one in particular where this girl was trying to go to Hawaii, and Hawaii has quite a high unvaccinated rate which I am pretty surprised by, to be honest.
Me
But
too.
if you go to Hawaii, you need to be vaccinated, otherwise they just won't let you on the plane. But there's this one girl in particular, she bought a fake vaccination card and she spelled Moderna without the R. Like, it was completely spelled wrong. And I'm like, if you're gonna fake or forge something, you gotta make sure that at least you spell check.
Seriously, and that one family, it was like a family of four, and they obviously got caught because the two kids are under 12 and vaccinations are not yet available for them. So obviously they got caught. It's almost like if you're gonna fake something, be smart. But I honestly don't suggest you to even um to even fake this, because and I have a friend too who's like not who doesn't want to be vaccinated, whatever, is like her choice. And honestly, I want to have another conversation, because this is probably my third
Mhm.
like will be my third conversation with her, almost like, well, your choice could land a child in the hospital, so it's no longer a
Yeah,
choice, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
also, if and something about like her wanting to go visit New York, and I was like, well, do you know that New York City is also, mandating, or like you should be vaccinated or you can't go to the restaurants? And she was like, well, I'll just buy fake vaccination cards. And I was like, don't do that. Don't
yeah,
do that, because first of all, it's a felony. Because the only reason why it's a felony is because you are buying a fake vaccination card. Like, if you ever harm another person by spreading a virus, because you're asymptomatic, or two, didn't know and you were sick or whatever, like, you could be unknowingly spreading the virus to someone, and intentionally, and then on the off chance that you'll kill the person. So that's a felony, right?
yeah,
Versus if you
yeah,
would get like a fake driver's license under 21, that doesn't harm another person besides yourself. Like, this is different,
yeah.
and they don't understand that.
I guess it depends if you get a fake driver's license and then you get drunk and then you drive and you kill someone, then I guess you do harm another person. So there's
Yes,
that.
that's true.
So, so,
There
so I
is
guess,
that. There are consequences to
well,
everything.
here's another thing. Actually, here's another analogy. Let's say someone, because this is actually a real crime, where if you know you have AIDS or
Yes.
infected with HIV and you knowingly go out and you have sex with multiple
Yep.
partners without protection, you can be
That's
criminally
homicide,
charged. You can be criminally charged for that, and that,
not homicide.
and
Yeah.
depending, yeah, and whatever state it is, you will be charged for that. I don't see
Yep.
how COVID is not. I mean, obviously, it's not as it's life threatening, but it's not AIDS. But still, it's very similar. Where if you knowingly know that
Yes.
you have the virus and you go around willy nilly about it, there has to be some kind of implication. I don't know what it will
Totally.
be and how they're gonna enforce it, but
Well, they get a
yeah.
fine. They do get a fine.
Well,
And
yeah,
it's like tens of thousands of dollars or something. It's not cheap. And I'm sure, because it's treated as a felony, that they would have some kind of jail time.
yeah. I mean, for like faking vaccination cards and stuff, right?
Yes.
And why? Okay, so here's another thing though. I have a feeling that, and this is not the only thing. You have people who do type in vaccination cards information into like the system, so that if they do look up the number, it will be flagged as like a real card. And so there's a couple of nurses and people who are doing that, and those people are getting caught too. And
Wow.
the person who said that she does data entry for that kind of stuff, she mentioned that a good majority of them are also healthcare workers too, who are trying to avoid vaccination, which
That is effed up.
blows my damn mind. Like, I am so
Yes.
sorry that they're like,
Hmm.
okay, if you're trying to go to Hawaii with the fake vaccination cards, I'll be like, okay, you're selfish, you're a brat or whatever. If you're a healthcare worker buying a fake vaccination card, going to work and then infecting other people, you're just evil at that point. At that
They
point,
took
you are
they
evil.
Yes, they took an oath to, to believe in science and to help people. So them not
Yes.
getting vaccinated is not helping anyone but themselves. And that is
Yes.
very selfish. It's almost like, what is the point? Like, why are you in it? Like, I'm sorry, you deserve to like be. And I'm glad that hospitals are mandating their caretakers to get the vaccine, because you shouldn't be in this if you're not going to get vaccinated. Like, it absolutely makes no sense whatsoever.
It's science too. Like, it's
Yes.
it's science, and if you're going to go into a field of health science, you need to
Yes.
follow the science. And if you don't believe in the science, you need to quit your job. But to go
Yep.
around and falsify documents and be around
Yep.
people who are immunocompromised, because some of those nurses most likely work in the cancer patient hospitals, or with like the geriatric healthcare. So you're putting those people at way more risk than if you were just in the public. So they
Yep.
need to lose their license. They need to
Totally.
quit their jobs. And I think that's a really hard stance for me, because it's like you chose to be a such an evil person to do that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree entirely. 100%. Oh, it
And
really just bogs my like. Yeah, I just understand.
well,
This
here's
whole
another
this
thing
whole
though.
thing is like crazy.
You know what kind of blows my mind though, Mel? Our vaccination cards, it's just like a piece of paper and they kind of write on it, and there's like probably like an identification number that you can type in the computer. I'm surprised that like they didn't think about it being forged at the beginning. And I was kind of shocked too that I didn't think that people were going to forge or get fake vaccination cards as well. And I'm wondering if like going in the future, they're going to have more strict types of vaccination cards, like something where it has like a QR code or a emblem or a stamp or something. Kind of like a passport, because it's hard to fake a passport, you know? Uh-oh, where'd Mel go? Did we all just die out?
Sorry, every time somebody calls me, it like completely knocks me out.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. But what was I saying? Oh, okay. Did you hear my last one? I think I was just saying that like, I'm surprised that people are forging stuff, and I'm wondering if going
Yeah.
in the future they're gonna make vaccination cards like a little bit more hard to fake, like kind of like passports with the
Like print,
holographic thing.
yeah, or like a print out, like an actual computer print. I do think that they need to make it harder to replicate because yeah, these stupid cars are so easy. But
Yeah,
again, the people who do forge these vaccination cards are not very smart either, and they tend to make
yeah,
mistakes a lot. So it's almost like
yeah,
they get caught anyways. So it's like, okay,
yeah,
we know why you don't want to get vaccinated. I don't know. Again, let
yeah.
Darwin win because I'm like tired of having to have these conversations with them.
Yeah, and you know what though? I do think that like the further down the road we go, the vaccination cards are just gonna get more tech savvy. It's gonna have an emblem, a QR code, some kind of like thing that's attached to it that makes it more legitimized, kind of like all of our passports and IDs. It's
Yep.
just so happen. It's not a matter of if it's gonna happen. It's a matter of when it's gonna happen and how it's gonna happen. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So honestly, go ahead, if you're gonna forge all of that, like have your good time right now, because it's gonna end really soon and the laws are just gonna get stricter, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, all right. What do you want to do on our next story? Do you want to talk about China or Texas?
Oh my God. Can we talk about Texas?
Let's do Texas.
What the F?
Okay.
I am livid. Livid. Okay. So right now, if you guys don't know, Texas is it like they passed a law? Is it law, right? That
uh,
bans
yeah. It's
that bans
the
abortion like past 6 weeks. You cannot have an abortion after 6 weeks. And it also allows people who you don't freaking know, and if they find out that you did that, they could sue the people that was involved. Uh, to that who like committed like the abortion, whatever. And if they win, they get $10,000. Okay, and let's be clear. Nobody, if they were like, if you guys were tracking your periods and whatnot, then you may or may not know that you're pregnant at 6 weeks. But there's a lot of people who do not know that they're pregnant at 6 weeks until it's too late. So, oh my God, I'm like getting like like goosebumps just talking about it. It is killing me that they are making this law especially when there are people like governors or in high power places that are supposedly pro-choice, no, sorry, pro-life, and when it happens to them, that they are allowed to abort the baby, but not for anybody who is low income or who is like, or specifically, like uh, people of color, whatever, who can't, who like, I think this is where it was targeted, who's targeted. Like, oh my God, I am livid over this. Livid.
Um, I have so many thoughts about this. I'm going to try to keep it like in. I don't want to keep
Don't.
it tunnel vision, but I do know. Okay, first of all, this is complete BS, right? Like
Total.
it goes against every single thing that I believe as a woman. Completely
Yes.
BS. Another thing is, I did not know I was pregnant with Rudy until 15, 18 weeks. So
Oh
there
my
we go.
God.
And I'm the type of person who is like super type A. So now you
Yeah.
know that if I am like unaware of me being pregnant until I was 15 weeks, I'm pretty sure other people who are not me are more likely to go longer.
Yep.
Second of all, okay.
How is a guy, men, okay, telling us what to do with our effing
it's
body?
it's not even men at this point. It's
Oh,
about
there are
the
some, yes,
government. It's
yes.
about the government. And I don't like that the conversation is like men, Democrats, Republicans, whatever. I don't like that because we're talking about like, okay.
Keep going. Keep going, woman.
Okay.
Keep going.
My situation is this law puts women who are in low income situation be
Yep.
forced to have these children that they cannot afford. In
Yep.
the long run, the state will have to end up paying for those children. So as far as I know, government cares quite a lot about money. And if they don't think about that, they're pretty much are going to be bleeding extra money for plans and systems and care for women who can't take care of these children. At the
And
end of
here's
the day,
yes, go ahead.
at the end of the day, I don't know why they're like, oh, pro-life or whatever, because all I know is that most government officials care more about money than I think they actually care
Yes.
about this whole abortion thing.
Yes.
So
And
it's
here's the
like,
thing, like here's the thing, like they were saying how, all like it's about pro-life or whatever. They don't care about the baby that is born after the fact. They are
nope,
pro-birth. If
yep,
anything, they're pro-birth. They don't care as soon as the baby's born. There's like, yeah, give it up to adoption. I was like, what about the cost of
nope,
actually even carrying the baby or the cost of all the checkups and all that stuff? And like the just like the stress over, pregnancy is very hard. Okay, just the stress of that
yep,
all to have to be put through when maybe it wasn't even your choice to do that.
yep,
Like,
yep.
oh my God, and like
Well,
so many chances. Like for example, there are pregnancies that came out of like for example yourself, right? Do you want to say how that happened?
me?
Yeah, like you were on
Oh,
birth control, correct?
yeah, I was on birth control and I forgot like 2 days.
Uh-huh.
I forgot 2 days and like it happened and then like around I think like 1.5 months out, like my menstruation cycle has always been up and
Yeah.
down even with birth control. And then like about 1.5 months out, I was feeling kind of like extra cranky and I was just
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna take a pregnancy test because it's one of those like confirmation bias kind of situation where I'm like, I'm just gonna take it just so I know that I'm not pregnant and feel better. And turns out I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So, but the thing was just like at that point, like I told you, I was already like applying to be a foster mom and everything too. So
Yeah.
at that point in my life, I was already wanting to be a mother. So it wasn't
Yeah.
a question, right? However, there are people who are in situations that they're not ready. And I
That's
think
a
if we want to further our economy, our
mhm.
environment, life,
Mhm.
I think that is a choice that is very apparent for women. Look at COVID, for example. Last year in 2020, about they estimated that 24% of women had to quit their jobs because it was
Mhm.
impossible for them to work from home and also take care of their children. Could
Yep.
you imagine how much that set us back as women? Now you're telling me about this abortion law that's setting us back even more. And I'm like, it's hard
Oh
enough to
my
be a
God.
mom with
Mhm.
daycare,
Mhm.
preschool. Now to be a mom and not be able to pay for any of those things and not even wanting to be a mom in the first place, like that. I love being a mom. I
Mm-hmm.
love being a mom, and I will stand and die by it. But I also will also stand by my sisters who are like, I don't think being a mom is for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I will
Yeah.
die by that, and
And
it's
it's and see
and
that's
be,
the thing. Like I mean, I changed my I changed my first diaper at 9 years old. Like that's my sibling. You know what I mean? Like I watched them grow up. Like both siblings, watch them grow up and everything. I never had that urge to have kids. And even when I had was married, I, I think I may have wanted kids only out of obligation because it's almost like first is engagement, then it's marriage, then it's children. Like it's all that steps. But
mhm.
that shouldn't be the case, like I don't want to feel that way. And to me, the reason why is because I can see how hard it is to raise a child. I can also see how expensive it is to raise a child. So for me, it was almost like I can't, I need to like be sure that I'm financially completely stable before I want to bring a child into this, but at this rate I'm perfectly okay and content, not having one. But there are
And here's
people
the
who,
thing.
yeah,
Okay. I wanted to be a mom, but when I
yeah,
had Goody, my postpartum depression was so freaking hard. I mean, I hid
yeah,
it from a lot of people, but it was really hard because I lost a lot of my autonomy. I
yeah,
struggled for almost a whole year, right?
yeah,
But I also still had my partner, I had my parents, I had a finance that wasn't like so shaky and rocky, and I
yeah,
was still going through postpartum depression. I still had like therapy and medication, all that to help, and I still feel the residual of it. And that's me on the privileged side, and it still
yeah.
affects me, even though I want to be a mom, and that's me choosing to be a mom. I can't imagine someone who doesn't want to be a mom, who can't afford those kind of care, who is forced to take care of something that they
Yep.
cannot physically, mentally, emotionally do. Like that upsets me. We
Yes.
are in a place where women who want to have children, who still can't get help and still are begging for help and extra maternity leave, who can't get that help, and now we're forcing them to have children and they don't want to, and knowing that they can't get that help. That makes me want to seethe.
Oh
I
my
gotta calm
God.
down before a stroke
And here,
happens.
and here's I heard another story. It was like this, and a lot of the pro life whatever people, they're all like saying like you have to think about the child. Everything is it's like birth at life is at the heartbeat. I was like, okay, well, there's this woman who she said, please stop talking for me, because she was actually a
Yep.
child. She was the sixth child of of her parents, and she was supposed to be aborted because her
Mhm.
dad did not want to have a sixth child because guess what?
Mhm.
Financial burden. And once
Mhm.
she was, but her mom was insistent on having, because she's Catholic, was insistent on having the child. And guess what?
Mm.
They grew apart. There was animosity, there was tension. All the siblings, like, hated, I guess, like hated her or whatever, because
Oh my gosh.
she was the catalyst for all the things that happened. And the
Mhm.
mom got into some kind of like mental breakdown after her birth
Mhm. Mhm.
because of this birth. So you don't think about all that leading up to it. And like, how you said about postpartum depression,
Yeah,
that's a thing. People don't
it's
understand that
very
that is a
real.
thing. So yes, please don't talk about another, you don't know anyone's situation in life. You don't know like where they're coming from, whatever, like if they can even financially afford to have a child. Do not make their choice for them. Live your freaking life and leave them alone. Like this is
Okay.
what it absolutely bothers me.
Okay, so Angela says we have a lot of comments, by the way, about this.
Oh my
So here we
God,
go.
please.
Okay, Angela says I saw someone that posted that they were doing IVF and they still didn't know that they were pregnant until 5 or at the end of 5 weeks, and that is with weekly check-ins to see if the eggs is attached. And she also said, I've stopped calling them pro-life. I'm calling them anti-pro-choice, which I think is
Yeah,
fair
it
because
is
they are not
fair.
actually about pro-life. Our
No.
government only thinks about money in the short term. Long-term financial effects are for the future. Yep. And
Yep.
then Tiffany says, okay, let's see what she says. I'm trying to keep it in order. Okay. She says, it's ridiculous. It's really not pro at all.
Nope.
It's anti-choice and controlling women's bodies. This could be controversial, be really controversial, but it could be a way to try and increase white birthdays as it might have the opposite. Wait. This could be really controversial, but it could be a way to try and increase white birthday but it might have the opposite effect. You might have to elaborate on that. I don't think I'm reading that correctly.
So, and what's
Huh?
so annoying? Did you hear about Jen Psaki? She's the White House press secretary. Like she like totally like shut down this male reporter saying like, well, Biden's a devout Catholic. Why is he agreeing to what is it? Like he allows abortion, all that stuff. Like he shouldn't do that, etc. And then she said, well, like the president respects women and respects women's choice, and you're not, and she was like, I'm pretty sure that you've never had that choice to have to make, you know what I mean, like to and never have to go through that. So for
Mhm.
and the president is like does value women and it's their choice and their body kind of situation. And
Mhm.
another commenter had said that, what she should have brought up, I mean, I think she shut him down perfectly, but what she should have brought up is that the president is supposed to separate church and state. So
Yep.
it's almost like you
Yep.
cannot bring church into something like this because it's not about that. Like
Mhm.
he's supposed to govern for all, not govern
Yep.
for his belief. Okay, he is supposed
Mhm.
to be on like in a very neutral state so that just because you make a law, it has to apply to everyone, not just one, not just a
Mhm.
few.
Yeah. I this You know what really messed me up too is that this law got passed and the Supreme Court should have stopped it, and I don't know why it
Yes,
didn't.
it
And
somehow
obviously
like something like lapsed or whatever that
they were
allowed
supposed to
it.
do it by midnight and they didn't get to it or
Yes,
something. And it's like,
yes.
and Angela might know this better than me, because she's also in Texas too. I think we're
Uh-huh.
in a 6 week limbo right now where like
Okay.
suppose like I there's going to be a lot of backlash for this, and I think good. Let's get the backlash going. Let's set some bras on fire, please. Come
Yep.
on, you know.
Yep.
And I think it's a 6 week. Okay, Angela's saying yes, so it's a 6 week limbo right now. So let's start burning fires, throwing
Yep.
tampons at government officials, because this cannot stay. And you know what really
Well,
messes me up about this law?
uh-huh.
It's literally trying to take the responsibility off of the state, because before it used to be, someone versus the state when it comes to abortion. Now they're trying to say, hey, look, my hands are free. The person you can sue is the physician. If you were to go get an abortion and the
Yep.
physician did it for you, your husband finds out, your husband can go sue the doctor. And you know what that does? Doctors are now going to not perform abortions because
Yep.
they don't want to lose their license. It's
For
a
sure.
loophole. It's a loophole that they're trying to pass. And guess what? We caught it, and we're going to make sure that that's not going to stick. And you know what? If the state wants to pass this law, the state needs to not be away from it. They have to also take some
Yes.
responsibility and not
And
be like,
like
oh, the physicians now.
and the funny thing is there's a lot of people up in arms about this law, and because they have this anonymous website that you could go and report these people who are performing illegal abortions and whatnot. So there are plenty of programmers, very smart programmers out there that are like pretty much creating a bot to fill these to really like spam this website with a bunch of like BS things that is like just like nonsense, you know what I mean? So that it could kind of like uh, fill up all the requests. So any type of like actual request will be buried with all these like spam ones that they add onto it, which I think was genius.
Here's okay. So Tiffany is saying that yeah, there's a controversial like idea that's going out there that by doing this, it increases the birth rate of white people. And then she also said that, but what they don't realize is that because by doing this, you're also realize how much kids will end up in care, and who pays
Yep.
for that, and it will end up being the state. You know what though, I do want to make a side note. I think if you personally believe that abortion is not for you, it goes against your morals or ethics, I think that's okay. And I will respect that. I think the main problem is the state trying to implement it for everyone.
Yep.
I am so tired of this notion that abortion is anti-life. It is not.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or I'm sorry. I'm tired of the rhetoric that pro-choice is anti-life. It is not.
Mhm.
Pro-choice is in the word. You are for
Mhm.
the choice of. Okay, it
Yep.
doesn't mean that because I have a choice, I'm gonna go around kill babies. You know, like I'm not
Right.
doing that. Right? I'm pro-choice, and I still had my baby. Right? So
Yeah.
pro and I don't know why that word is getting lost in the conversation, you know? And you can be pro-choice, but for yourself, be pro-life. I think that's fine.
Mhm.
Like I
Mhm.
don't and for me it's so much more important now because I have a daughter. I don't know what her choice is going to be in the future, but I don't
Yeah.
want those choices to be taken away.
Right. Absolutely right. For sure.
Um
Ugh.
ugh.
I
So,
I know, girl.
uh
I was like, we have to talk about this. This is like,
yeah, and you know what effed me up too? I love Texas, right? It is my
mhm.
home, and the past year it has been, and the crappy part is that because we are, you know, you talk about Dallas, Houston, Austin, like parts of San Antonio, like we're very blue, and then you see
Mhm.
Texas, and it's like Republican, right? And then you see these choices that they make, and you're just like, I cannot even defend my city, like you know, Houston is very separate from Texas. Can we like do that,
Yeah.
please?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I see this, and I'm just like, why Texas? Why do you just gotta make me like
It looks so
dislike you
bad.
again? Yeah, you know, like why? Come on, bro. Like
I know. I mean,
you
I just sometimes like, I mean, you're gonna bring up China next, you know what I mean? So it's like China's never on like very good, like doesn't have a very good reputation, every time people bring China up, I'm just like, like kind of covering my face and everything. But honestly, I've been here since I was 2, so yes, I'm very Americanized and not very, Chinese at all. But it's almost like it does break my heart to hear it and to hear it so bad. You know what I mean?
well, okay, so China, this recent week, they're passing a law about. Okay, we're moving on to the next topic here.
Yeah.
Um, so when Mel sent me the story about Texas, I responded to her and I laughed. I was just like, "Isn't it funny how I am actually more supportive of China right now in this law than I am about Texas? Like that's
Yeah.
how you know Texas is messing up. The fact
At
that
a bad time.
I'm seeing China in a good light over Texas is a problem.
Yeah,
So
right?
okay, so China recently pretty well there this one thing is kind of it's iffy for me. They're passing pretty much a law for minors where like you cannot play games after from midnight to 6 a.m., which
Uh-huh.
I don't know why that's even a law. It should be like a parents thing where like
Yeah.
parents, y'all need to like check on your kids like at 9 p.m. take the iPad away, take the game away, make them go to bed. Like
Yeah.
why is this so problematic that that the government has to make it a law, right?
That is so
Um,
funny.
Obviously they've had other like other regulations in place, and kids have been like stealing their parents' ID to log in to play the game so they can pretend that they're 18 and over. I've heard that like they're trying to limit it to like just Fridays after 6 p.m. or something.
Uh-huh.
Um, so here's another thing that they also passed too is the there is the 996 law, which is working 9 hours a day for 6 days a week, so that parents are no longer doing that, which I guess encourages more healthy life balance with family.
Yeah.
Um, and this 996 working culture was so a lot of the places, like a lot of the tech companies and Alibaba are kind of like, hey, we rely on the 996 thing so that we can push our workers to work more. And that's how we become more successful, which is really sad. And now they're trying to say
Yeah.
that, now they're going to declare that, 996 is going to be illegal because, it's not healthy for the country and the people there. And obviously all the tech companies are like, hey, we kind of need this because it helps us grow. I am for the I'm for banning 996 because I don't Okay, in the US where we work 40 hours, and even that is considered a little bit much, like from 8 to 5.
Very much.
And, already that feels like
I
life
mean,
inducing.
no, like I love the European work life schedule. It's almost like you get, you come in maybe like really late, probably around 10 or whatever, and you go for your lunch later on, and it's almost like it's like a not a siesta, but like you could go for like 2 hour lunches and it not be
Mhm.
a problem. Like people actually prefer you to not be so stressed at work. And then you also get 5 weeks of vacation, like they force you, and that's on top of all of their like holiday vacations that they have, like their own federal holidays. So they literally get so much because they don't believe in working working to live. They believe in living. Is it
Yeah,
working to live,
yeah.
or is like, yeah, they believe just in living.
It's almost like survival culture more than it is living at
Yeah.
this point. It's all about making how much money so that by the time you die, I mean, by the time you retire, you have that money. And unfortunately, when you retire, what happens? All that money goes to like some nursing home,
Yep.
and then you end up having some nurse who's not who's anti-vax trying to take care of you,
Okay,
and
so
that's where your
do you
money
know
goes.
so do you know how it all came to be where with like with people working 40 hours a week? So
I don't
before
actually.
So before, this is funny. I don't know how I got onto this, but this was before it was like when like farmers or like or industry people they would work from sun up to sundown. And sundown around, it just depends. Like it could be like from like either 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. to like 5 or 4 p.m., whatever, right? Or like later
Hmm.
on. But
Hmm.
they only worked till that point because at that time they didn't have any light. So when they invented light and electricity, now you can extend the work hours. And
Mm.
that's where the whole 40 hours, like they were able to work through the night, and something happened where like people workers were protesting that they cannot work through like so many hours and whatnot. And that's where they condensed it and said it's an 8 hour per day, 40 hour per week kind of thing. So it all happened
Hmm.
when we got electricity, when we got
Mm.
light. So unfortunately, with technology, it's great and all, but not when it's supposed to, like people want people
Uh-oh. People want to. Uh-oh, did we lose Mel? We lost Mel? Okay, so I will read some comments instead while Mel logs back in. Okay, so let's see. Um, Angela said, it's getting lost in the message. The other side is maliciously ignoring it and twisting it, which is what we're talking about for the whole abortion law. Tiffany said, I saw an Instagram influencer saying that she is willing to pay people if they use up a proxy to crash the site. That's awesome.
nice. Um,
Let's see. Angela says, why are governments coming down and creating laws such as at such a detailed level? A 40-hour work week is also not necessary and counterproductive. Companies with more flexible schedules have proven again and again that healthier balance increases productivity and profit.
totally.
Very true.
Very
Tiffany says,
true.
in the UK, you have laws that prevent employers from abusing how many hours you can work.
Yep.
And then Tiffany also said, many have many have to stay by the law of 8 hours between shifts. And Angela says, F Thomas Edison. And I was about to say that. I was like, let's cancel
Yep.
Thomas Edison, motherfucker.
Yep.
Gave us the light bulb. Needs.
That's what I'm saying. It all came from electricity, from light, that now, we are able to work longer hours because we can, work from
dust, dust to dust.
sun up till the light burns out, the light
Yeah.
bulb burns out kind of thing.
But no, like for someone like me, I'm like completely ADHD, and so I
Yeah.
hyper focus. And so if I'm supposed to do work, I will do
Yeah.
10 hours of that work, so I don't have to work the rest of the week.
Yeah.
I can cram 40 hours of work in the span of like 15, 20 hours.
Oh,
There's no
totally.
need. There's no need for me to work an extra 40 hours, right?
Totally.
And so it's
Yeah.
just like the whole having to, I mean, like I see Papa Bear now too, and he like his job is pretty important. It's where, like, if he doesn't make sure the parts doesn't come into place, like people can really mess up like $1 million projects, right?
Yeah.
So, but I see him sit there, scratch his balls, sniff his fingers, wait for the next email. Like, there's no need for him to be in the office for 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
But I'm glad
Yeah.
that he's home now because he really enjoys it. But, like, he's sitting there, like, scratching his butt, sniffing his fingers afterwards, responding to emails. So
Yeah.
it goes again. People are more productive when they're in a comfortable environment, when they can work an
Yeah.
hour that is more productive for them, like certain times during the
I
day,
mean,
right?
and the thing
I,
is, like, they have to realize that literally I could wake up and be on my laptop and like start working. I don't have to like get up, get ready, do the 40-minute drive to work, and then come back the same 40-minute drive. You know what I mean? Like that's almost 2 hours. If that's all not including traffic, okay? When it's traffic, it's even longer.
oh
So it's almost
God,
almost
yeah.
2 hours of commute time. An hour of getting ready, whatever. Well, I can get ready in 30 minutes, but still. So
I
it's
mean,
a
it's a
lot of
whole
that.
day.
It
It's
is
a
a
whole
whole
day.
day. So
You
yeah,
know,
for them to say that, like you are more productive at work, not necessarily. Like if anything, you also feel less stressed because like, you're home, you're working, you answer me emails, you take a break, you could throw a load of laundry in the laundry,
yeah.
get a lot of your chores done and whatnot, where you don't have to wait until like, oh, by the time I get home and stuff like that, then I have to do laundry, and it's just like you're less productive.
You know what it is? It goes down to like authoritarian culture. Like, I have to see you work to know that you're
Yep,
working. And it's just like,
totally.
well, why can't you just trust that adults can actually do work and also do
Yeah,
laundry at the same time? Like, why do
seriously.
you have to watch them? I don't just trust that we're all
I
adults,
do not,
right? And if
yeah, I do
and if
not
they
like
don't produce, fire
micromanagers.
them. Yeah, if they
Yeah,
can't produce, fire them. If
yeah,
they're not going to work at home to get the paycheck to provide for their family, and you think that you paying rent for an office to force them to work because you're still losing money regardless, fire them. I don't
yeah.
I don't understand it, right? So Tiffany says,
So,
I can't
and
remember what country they have a 4-day work week and it made employees
yes,
more productive. Angela
totally
says
agree.
there's a couple of countries that do that, but the US doesn't. I will have to say though, there are some companies now. I know a couple in Texas because Papa Bear has worked at a couple of them where they do have it's not a 4 hour day work week, but it's like every other week where
Yeah,
one Friday you get off,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So that has been more productive because it allows that one Friday for that person to go to doctor's appointment, grocery shop, or
right.
whatever. So
I've
and that has proven to be more effective than doing 40 Monday to Friday every single week.
Yeah, my company was like debating about doing that, but it just hasn't really gotten through. And honestly, because of the pandemic, like
Hmm.
were forced to work from home, and it kind of softened them a little bit that they see that okay, people can work from home and we can be productive and all that stuff, right? But the fact
Hmm.
is, they still want us to eventually get back to a 5-day work week because there is that one or two people that ruin it for everybody else. And like you said, if they're not productive on their own without supervision, then the company can let them go. Why
Yep.
punish the rest of us, for
Yep.
something that though one or two people can't follow the rules?
Yep.
Even my boss was like, I'm super proud of our team. Like we do our job so well and everything, and I don't have to like watch over you guys and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, yes, great. But like again, I don't want to feel, I'm feeling very comfortable with working, a few days at home and a few days at the office, but I don't want to feel as if I have to be forced to do that because I can literally, my job can literally be work from home. I like going into the office occasionally for the people face to face kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like I can always be at home all the time. It's just very boring sometimes. I mean, the cats, they're great, but they don't talk to me. So it's not something that I have that workplace mentality, so I don't know.
Okay, so Angela says fake busy is the worst thing about being in the
Fake busy
office.
is so stupid. Yes, I so agree.
Uh,
I don't want to
the
pretend I'm
numbers
busy.
The numbers prove that people are more productive at home. Authority still wants people to go back in the office just for control. It's such an ego thing. It
It
really
is.
is. And then Tiffany says, "Yeah, there's so much you can do before you run out of stuff. Like how many times can you scratch your balls in a day? Like it's a lot. I'm telling you, it is a lot, and you're paying for that. So it's
Yep.
just it's a lot.
No,
So
it's so true.
okay, but I am glad, but I mean, and that's us, we're doing the 40 hour and we're complaining, right? And can you imagine like in China when they're doing the
Yeah,
996 where it's like 9 hours for
that's
6 days a week?
crazy.
Like that's, I'm glad that they're finally banning that. Good for you, China. Come on, keep moving it forward. Okay,
Yeah.
those are the three stories that we have. I think we wanted to do something lighthearted because a lot of
Yes.
this, the Texas ones gave me a stroke sort of.
Oh
uh
God.
okay, so we're gonna do something fun, which is going to be what is it
It
going to be?
was to find out. So I never thought about doing this before, and it wasn't until like maybe I want to say like 5 or 6 years ago that I talked to my friend, and like I think I subconsciously do it every season, and it's one of those where like I have some certain things that I like to do, right? So like
Mhm.
a seasonal checklist. So for fall items, now that it's fall and the air is crisp and all that stuff, I like to go, I like to do either go apple picking or go hiking eventually to
Wait,
see
wait, wait, wait,
the
wait, hold on,
leaves
wait, wait, wait,
change.
wait.
What?
Basically, what we're trying to say is that like what we do for what, because Mel says that the fall is kicking in and there's just like traditions that people do. So I think this next section is just going to be us talking about like what is kind of like our fall essentials. Like what do we do
Yeah.
to get connected with fall and get ready for the fall?
Yes.
There we go.
Well, also just the fact that just having like a checklist, and I never really had checklists before. So now I have seasonal checklists. So I've had a summer checklist where it's like, you go to the beach, you go see all of, like the sunflowers, you go peach picking, like strawberry picking, whatever, like these things that I kind of
Mhm.
check off, or go to the beach or whatever. So yeah, now fall is kicking in. So there are a few things that's on my list that I like to check, which is really funny. But I think I enjoy that because it's like,
Mhm.
okay, now these are the things that you do like every year, seasonal, and it's nice to just be able to check it off. What do you
Well,
normally
let's say
do?
happy birthday to Tiffany. It's her birthday
Ooh,
today.
happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday. I'm sorry that we bummed you out with the
So
topic.
sorry.
Uh, but it's your birthday.
What,
Um,
what?
what? Let us know what you're gonna be doing for your birthday because it is also,
Yeah.
well, I mean, it's Labor Day weekend for us in the States, but
Yeah.
um, let us know
Funny.
what you're gonna be doing.
Labor Day
I
weekend.
I
Funny.
know. Um, okay, for me, for the fall, it would be well, that whole checklist thing. I think it never kicked in until like I had Grudy as well,
Yeah.
because when you have children, there's things you want to hit to make sure
Yes.
that they feel the vibe too. So definitely going to a pumpkin patch.
Nice. Yep. That's on my
Um,
list too.
yeah, pumpkin patch. Obviously, trick or treating is a big one. So some kind
Yeah.
of costume because that's a fall thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not a pumpkin spice latte person, but I always get one just to like for my brain to like be like it's fall because we don't get fall here. It's always hot,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So just getting one of those and being like, oh yeah, I regret this reminds me that
Yeah.
it is fall. you know?
What I don't like is that, okay, it's fall, right? It just happened. Why the heck am I seeing all these Halloween stuff? Okay, let's wait until we actually embrace fall for September and stop like shoving all this Halloween stuff on
Oh,
us, right?
I wish Ashley was here. Hella Sparkles.
Why?
She is a Halloween fanatic. She has already got everything Halloween in her house.
That's probably for the people who love Halloween, that like as soon as September hits around. But see, the thing is like I don't like horror movies, okay? And
Oh
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just as soon as like fall comes around, you get all these like scary previews of movies or whatnot. I have an October checklist of movies that I like to watch. Like I like to watch Hocus Pocus. I like to
Always.
watch Nightmare Before Christmas. I like to watch a lot of things that's on my Halloween list, but I don't like gore. You know what I mean? Well, except for Dexter.
No.
Dexter is good. Oh, Dexter is coming in November
Huh.
9th. I think November 9th or whatnot. Like, the 10 episodes is coming up.
Uh, Angela says, well, Mel says crisp air, and I'm over here thinking it's swampy. I know. I was like, a crisp air? You mean like swampy armpit? Like, yeah.
No, I literally have my windows open. It's like, and in the morning it was so cold. And yeah, crisp air, like crisp morning
No,
air for sure.
no. Yeah, the only thing crisp here is
The leaves.
literally nothing. Yeah, it literally nothing here, to be honest. It's just all
Yeah,
soggy and sad. Um,
sorry.
I know. I was about to say something and then I forgot what it was, but it had something to do with not
Halloween
Halloween.
or fall.
Oh, yeah, fall and Halloween. So you're right. I don't like the gore and the whatever. I think that the
Yeah.
whole Halloween thing is kind of cute, like how it came to be. It's you know. Um, but the other day, so Grudy has like a play kitchen, and in her play kitchen there's a broom, and she'll play with it. And this
Uh-huh.
new thing that she's doing is she'll put the broom between her legs and run around, and she'll like go, "Mommy, hee hee hee," and I'm like, "What is that?" And she goes, "I'm a witch," and like she'll just run away, and I think it's
That's
so
so
cute because
cute.
yeah, and I don't think she understands that Halloween is coming, but it was just
Yeah.
cute that she was just like she associate brooms with witches, which is so cute.
Oh,
But yeah, she like just put it on. She goes hee hee, and it's not even
she would.
witch like. It's not
Yeah.
even witch like. It's just hee hee. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? Like you sound like a horse, you know? Um,
She's a mini witch, so that means you have to make her
yeah,
a witch costume for
yeah.
Halloween.
Gosh, there's so many costumes already.
I
Um,
know.
Okay, what else? Yeah, definitely pumpkin patch, getting a
Yep.
pumpkin spice latte. I'm probably not gonna do any Halloween like decorating because I feel like I spend most of that energy for Christmas.
Yeah.
Um, and then trick or treating. What else? Oh. So like I think usually around like the end of October, it gets a little crisp here,
Uh-huh.
and that's when I start making like a batch of like elderberry tea because that's when like all the
Oh,
flu and
nice.
stuff. But
Yeah.
I will have it on the stove and on really low, and it'll just pretty much run all day, and then like Papa would come and have like a cup or whatever,
Oh,
and it just makes the
nice.
house smell so like fall and seasony. So that's the first thing I always do is like order a
What's the
big thing of
s-
elderberry.
what's the scent of an elderberry?
It's almost like a blueberry, like a
Oh, ooh,
dried blueberry if you
yum.
think about it. Yeah, so
I
like what I
love
do is
blueberry.
I put like ginger and cinnamon in it so it gives it that like
Mm,
that fall vibes,
nice.
So that's another thing that I do, but other than that I don't think I go all out because it's so swampy here, you know?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I don't know if you guys have leaves changing, but that's another thing. I love hiking when the leaves are changing.
Yeah,
It's just so
yeah.
beautiful. And I don't do this often, but like camping is nice, when it's like
Yeah.
out there. But I think I'm more the glamping type. So not necessarily camping, and then obviously s'mores, and you gotta break
Oh
out the
yeah.
s'mores during the campfires, like that sort of thing. So yeah, I have a list of items, seasonal items that I check off the list, and so it's nice to, I guess, go into another one of that. I don't have that many for winter because I tend to hibernate around winter,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, well, apple picking definitely is another one.
for sure.
Yeah, apple picking, but yeah, that's always fun doing fall stuff.
Yeah.
You know what? We should always add like a random like thing at the end of our stream so that it's not so
Heavy.
depressing.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I mean, real life sucks, but there's also small things in real life that
I
makes it
know.
good, right?
I
Like
know.
so
Well,
I
and I recently put on I recently like posted a photo, and I had said something, and it was like a quote about like a happy soul is like is the I forget how I said it, but it protects yourself from the cruel world,
yes,
like, and I
yeah.
think I believe that because being, if you're in such a cruel world and things like that, it's definitely, if you don't have an optimistic or a happy soul, you can really go down a very downward spiral. that will take you into a dark space. And so like definitely I would say practice optimism. You know, I know it's sucky right now, but it's almost like there's got to be a light at the end of the tunnel somewhere, you know, that we have to like hold on to.
Um, so I joined a gym this past summer,
Ooh,
and
nice.
I met this guy.
Yeah.
He's this older man, and I love going to the gym and seeing older people because they're like,
Yeah.
I'm not here to look good. I'm here to stay alive, right?
Yep.
It's a very different mentality, and I love it because this guy, every time he sees me, he's just like, "Baby girl, 6 miles." I'm like, "No, I'm just on
Uh,
like two," and but he's just like, it's fine. You know, two's still better than
yeah.
nothing. And he's like everyone's hype man. Like he's always
Aw,
like you know hyping everyone up, and he's just this like older
that's
guy. And so
nice.
yeah, so yesterday he was on the elliptical right next to me and he saw I was
Yeah.
watching the news and he was just like,
Yeah.
"Why are you watching the news right now?" And I said, "Because if I'm angry, I can run it out, you know?" And
That's
he's just like,
true.
"That is genius." Because
Yeah.
after if I'm not working out, I don't consume the news because it
Yeah,
like
yeah.
depresses me and I can't
I
punch
know.
anything, you know?
Right.
So but yeah, and I think it's like little things like that, like having my hype person and finding like, you
That's
know, a little joy
nice.
in kind of but yeah, I agree. Having a good soul makes the cruel world a little bit easier to navigate.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do
Yeah.
agree. I do agree having like exercising gives you happy endorphins, whatever can get you out of there. My man friend, like he loves to run in the morning because I think that really helps to de-stress him. And his
Mm-hmm.
gym, like I had, was open like around June, so we were able to get to have him, get sign the liability so we can go to the gym. So it's nice to like go and work out together. You know, I always enjoy
Mm-hmm.
that. So yes, working out
Yeah.
will give you that nice happy endorphins that you really need to de-stress.
Yeah. Yeah. It's or at least an outlet for something, right?
Totally,
An
totally.
outlet. All right. Well, that is our stream for this week. We will catch you guys next week. Angela has already peaced
Yeah.
out, so she's just like, "I'll remember to join next time." So we'll
Thank you
call her
all
out
for
on that.
joining. I know.
Please let us, please have a good weekend. Enjoy yourself. If you're in the US, enjoy
Yeah.
the Labor Day weekend, nice long weekend. Obviously,
Hmm.
still stay safe, mask social distance if you can, all that good stuff.
Please.
And peace out, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Oop, and.